Most people buy an expensive receiver and then realize it doesn't fit their room, their speakers, or their actual needs. The result? Wasted money, disappointment, and a home theater that never feels like cinema, but today, that ends. Because, in this no BS buying guide, I'm breaking down everything you need to know before buying your next AV receiver in 2025. From channels and power to HDMI 2.1, Dolby Atmos, gaming features, and future-proofing, you'll have zero doubts by the end. Stay locked in, because if you miss even one of these points, you could ruin your home theater experience. One, the heart of your home theater. Why the receiver matters. Every masterpiece has a conductor. In your home theater, that conductor is the receiver. It takes every input, Blu-ray, streaming box, game console, and channels it into one brain that controls your speakers, your subwoofers, even your TV. Most people think it's just another box in the stack. But here's the reality. Your receiver is the brain, the muscle, and the beating heart. Without it, your speakers are just silent furniture. This is why choosing the right receiver isn't optional. It's survival for your system. And in a moment, we'll reveal how power and performance determine whether your movies hit like thunder or whisper like static point 2. Power and performance. How much muscle do you really need? Here's a truth no salesman will tell you. More. What doesn't always mean better sound. What matters is not just the headline number, but how that power is delivered across all channels. That a receiver that promises 150 watts per channel might only deliver 50 when driving 5 speakers at once. That's why looking beyond marketing is critical. You want clean, consistent power that can handle explosions, orchestras, and dialogue without clipping or distortion. Asterisk asterisk, so now you know how to choose the perfect home theater receiver. But this is only the beginning, because here's the truth. Your receiver is only half the battle. The other half? Pairing it with the right speakers and soundbars. And that's exactly what we're covering next on the channel. If you thought this guide was powerful, wait until you see our upcoming breakdown. The top 5 soundbar plus receiver combos of 2025. It's going to change the way you think about home theater forever. Subscribe now, because missing that video could be the single biggest mistake in your home theater journey. That if your receiver is underpowered, it won't just sound weak, it'll damage your speakers over time. But here's the twist. Buying too much power can also be a waste if your room and speakers don't need it. So how do you find the balance? That's exactly what the next section reveals, because channels and speaker layouts are where most people go wrong. At point 3. Channels and speaker layouts. Matching receiver to your room. This is where the buying journey gets personal. Do you need 5.1, 7.2, or should you leap into 9.2 with Atmos overheads? Think of channels as lanes on a highway. The more lanes, the more room for sound to move. A 5.1 receiver will cover the basics: front, center, surrounds, and subwoofer. But step into 7.2, and suddenly the sound field opens wider, surrounding you with richer detail. Now here's the catch. Your room size dictates your channel needs. A small apartment doesn't need a 9.2 monster. But if you've got a medium or large room, limiting yourself to 5.1 will choke your speakers. And remember this, a receiver with more channels today means flexibility tomorrow. Which is why in the next section, we'll uncover the real secret, the sound formats that unlock those extra channels and take immersion to another dimension. Point 4. Surround sound formats. The Dolby Atmos and DTS. Flat sound is dead. If you're still thinking 5.1 is enough, you haven't experienced the 3D sound revolution. Dolby Atmos and DTS. Don't just push sound around you. They place it above you, behind you, even swirling across the ceiling. Imagine raindrops falling not just from your front speakers, but literally from above your head. But here's the trap. Not all receivers that say Atmos deliver the same experience. Some only simulate height channels, while true Atmos requires dedicated speaker outputs or upfiring modules. And here's where the real buyer's dilemma kicks in. Do you invest now, or wait for the formats of tomorrow? Well, in the next section, we'll reveal why your HDMI ports might hold the answer to whether your system survives the next 5 years or becomes obsolete in 2.5. HDMI, 4K per 8K, and gaming. The future-proof features welcome to the spec sheet battlefield. This is where marketing hype meets brutal reality. Your receiver must be the gateway between sources and your display. That means HDMI 2.1, eARC, and full bandwidth 4K per 8K pass-through aren't luxuries anymore. They're survival tools. Without them, your shiny new TV or PlayStation 5 won't perform at full throttle. But here's the danger. Some receivers in 2025 are still shipping with limited bandwidth ports, bottlenecking your 4K, 120, or 8K signals. Others hide behind firmware. Promises that may never arrive. Future-proofing isn't about chasing the biggest number. It's about making sure your receiver won't choke the moment a new console or streaming box lands. And in just a second, we'll go deeper, because even if your HDMI is perfect, your room itself might be sabotaging your sound. Point 6. Room size and calibration. Tuning your receiver to your space. Here's a secret. The same receiver will sound completely different in two different rooms. Why? Because your room is the final speaker. Echoes, reflections, furniture placement, they all warp the sound. That's why calibration software like Odyssey, YPEO, or Dirac Live is a game changer. It listens to your room, measures your speakers, and fine-tunes every frequency so the sound hits your ears exactly as intended. Skip this step, and your $2,000 setup can sound worse than a $500 soundbar. But embrace it, and even a modest receiver can feel cinematic. And this brings us to the next big question, because wires and speakers are only half the story. In a modern receiver, connectivity is just as critical as raw power. Act 7. Connectivity and streaming. More than just cables. A home theater receiver is no longer just about speaker wires. In 2025, connectivity defines convenience. Think wireless streaming, AirPlay 2, Chromecast, Spotify Connect. Think multi-room audio, HEOS, MusicCast, or BlueOS. These features let your receiver become the central hub for not just movies, but music in every room. And don't underestimate Bluetooth. A poor implementation can mean lag and distortion, while premium receivers now offer lossless Bluetooth codecs for near CD quality. Here's the kicker. Some brands give you everything, others lock you into their ecosystem. Choose wrong, and you're stuck. But brand isn't just about features, it's about trust. And that's where we head next. Point 8. Brand reputation and reliability. Who can you trust? Names matter in this game. Denon, Yamaha, Onkyo, Marantz, Sony. Each has a legacy, but each comes with trade-offs. Denon and Marantz are praised for musical warmth, Yamaha for reliability and calibration, Onkyo for budget performance, and Sony for gaming integration. But no brand is perfect. Onkyo once collapsed under HDMI failures, while even Denon has models that overheated. The truth: don't fall for logos. Look for reputation in 2025 models, because tech evolves fast. A safe brand last year might be a risk this year. But here's the bigger question: how much should you even spend? That's the battlefield we're entering next. Point 9. Budget breakdown. What to expect at each price level. Here's where reality meets your wallet. At $500 and below, you'll find entry-level receivers with 5.1 or 7.2 channels, limited HDMI 2.1, and basic room correction. They're great for beginners, but don't expect jaw-dropping immersion. At $800 to $1,200, you unlock true Dolby Atmos, more channels, advanced calibration, and features like multi-room audio. This is the sweet spot for most buyers. At $1,500 and beyond, you step into audiophile-grade gear. More power, Dirac Live, premium DACs, and construction built to last. But before you reach for your credit card, you need to hear this. Most buyers waste money by making the same mistakes over and over. Let's fix that. Point 10. Common mistakes buyers make. Don't fall into these traps. Mistake number 1. Buying more channels than your room can handle. Mistake number 2. Ignoring HDMI specs and ending up obsolete in 2 years. Mistake number 3. Skipping calibration and blaming the receiver for bad sound. Mistake number 4. Spending all your money on the receiver, leaving nothing for quality speakers. These traps don't just cost money, they kill your entire cinematic experience. And the cruel truth? Salespeople often push you straight into them. But here's the good news. Hidden inside many receivers are features that almost nobody uses. and unlocking them can transform your setup overnight. Point 11. Hidden features most people miss. The secrets that change everything. Did you know some receivers hide second zone audio, letting you play music in another room while watching a movie in your theater? Or that many have high-resolution DACs built in, capable of rivaling standalone music systems? What about voice assistant integration? Alexa, Google, Siri, turning your receiver into part of your smart home? Or dynamic EQ modes that adjust sound as you lower volume, so you never lose bass and detail? These aren't gimmicks. They're features that separate a mediocre experience from a system that feels alive. And now, we come to the final moment, the ultimate buying checklist that will decide whether you walk away confident or confused. So now you know how to choose the perfect home theater receiver. But this is only the beginning, because here's the truth. Your receiver is only half the battle. The other half? Pairing it with the right speakers and soundbars. And that's exactly what we're covering next on the channel. If you thought this guide was powerful, wait until you see our upcoming breakdown. The top 5 soundbar plus receiver combos of 2025. It's going to change the way you think about home theater forever. Subscribe now, because missing that video could be the single biggest mistake in your home theater journey.